Hi and welcome everyone. It's Lavender Sky Panther. It's Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, and I'm here with you for a little spiritual card reading. It might be brief. We'll see where it all goes. This time around, I was guided to directly go seek out specific decks with a specific theme and just to pull the cards that made sense with that. They kind of just, caught my attention. So the overall theme here is speak your truth, don't back down, trust that the divine will flow the words through you in the time of need. Had a very specific example that happened to me today to remind me of all of this. That's why it's really strong in my heart, my spirit, to come and do this. So these are not random cards that jumped out. These are me going to specific decks as very powerfully guided to do so, and to pull cards that speak about speaking your truth, not backing down, and letting the God, flow through you and speak through you. Let God speak through you. So anyway, what I'm going to do is just kind of go wherever I'm felt to grab off the table. No particular order, I'm just going to go where I'm guided to talk about these things. So the first up, I want to go to the Daily Crystal Inspiration deck, Oracle deck, and look at this sodalite. It's really beautiful. And it says, speak your truth. So I am going to read straight up today from the companion books, and we'll see if I'm guided to throw anything else in. But this might be just a straight read from the books. Let's see. Also, bear with me. I'm holding the camera phone while I'm recording, and so it might take me a bit to turn pages and such, so bear with me. I'm just going to kind of focus on this scene as I read off camera. This is the book, but it focuses in and out in a weird way, so I'm going to try to avoid that, so bear with me. All right, Sodalite, speak your truth. You have something to say. You are a powerful voice. Speak up. Allow your words to flow from your heart, ensuring that your communication is authentic to how you feel. Although it can be much easier to let certain things go unsaid, it's important to have those difficult, even sometimes awkward conversations to express yourself and ask for what you really need. Articulating your thoughts and feelings to others allows them to understand and honor your truth. Through your clear, confident communication, others can hear what your heart is really saying. All right, core questions. When do you speak up for yourself? Where are you not being honest with yourself and others? How would it feel to speak your truth? And there's a little crystal action here. Affirm, I communicate clearly and others listen to my truth. Today, speak from your heart instead of your head. Now, actually, that's the key message in all of this. I will go to the book here. Today, speak from your heart instead of your head. And I would say, you know what? You speak your truth. Don't even worry if others are listening. If they're meant to hear you, they won't miss it. They'll feel it before they even hear a word. And if they seem to be tuning out, that's okay. That's just not a message for them at that time. However, absolutely still speak your truth if you're being guided to do so, whether there's an audience of 1 million, or none. All right? It is between you and Spirit and God all the time. And you don't know who might be listening within an earshot that you have no idea who's even listening. Okay? All right. Now we're going to look at this one. We're going to go to 7 of Fire. Here's the scene. All right. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. All right. So there's a time to be fierce and come in guns blazing, so to speak. But you do want to, when it says choose your battles wisely, well, you know what? Sometimes those choose you. So I've been in situations where I didn't even count on coming into battle, but you realize suddenly you find yourself in that situation, and then God just speaks through you, and defends whatever needs to be defended or, stood for, or the ground held. Those are beautiful moments. So, but yeah, if you're consciously going into something, make sure it's something worth going in for. And otherwise, also just by being this luminous warrior, always, we can't but be that. If you found my channel, you'll just know when that light gets turned up bright. It might even be turned up beyond your control. And conversely, something might dim it down a bit if you're coming in a little too fierce and the situation doesn't call for it. So it's very interesting how that works when you just show up as a light and trust fully that God flows through you, will give you the right actions, words. Things will just flow through you in the right way. And God also in that same moment has the power to open eyes or close them. And so you will know, whoever felt your message, they got it. And it doesn't matter because you're just lighting up that whole room with the truth, and the type of truth that God wants to be pulled through. And working through you is that bridge between that light above and the 3D and the people down here. So just trust it. Trust it always. You are fully equipped wherever you go. You don't have to practice, rehearse, or do anything. Just connect in with your heart and let that little "it's not right" button hit it, and you'll speak your truth right away. And otherwise, just be open and allow the divine light to flow through you. I will read from the book, I think, on this one. So give me a moment just to see if there's any little extra things that want to come out through this. It's a short little passage. So, you know what? I got to read it off camera. So, given the little focus issues, so bear with me. All right, 7 of Fire. Stand your ground and don't back down. You might need to defend your beliefs or decisions, and you will be successful. It's important to assert yourself and go for what you want. There's strength in adversity, and you've got what it takes. Stand up for your convictions. Stay alert and vigilant. Don't drop your guard just because you're in the right. Others may envy what you possess. It says additional meanings of this card: choosing your battles wisely, learning to say no, self-confidence, courage, challenging those in power, perseverance. And what jumps out at me here is challenging those in power or presumed power, right? And what was the other one? There was one other thing. Oh, and there's strength in adversity. Absolutely. Sometimes we need that contrast. We need that thing in our face to kind of put a little bit of a fire under our ASSs, you know, to stand up and charge up in that power, and then let that power further, you know, grow and grow and grow as we get a little bit of that fire within us. And there's time and opportunity for the divine to come in and tap into that and expand it, you know, when we need it, when we need to be bold and assertive, right? And that word assertive now is going to lead me to another deck. And ironically, not ironically, but funnily, oddly, uncannily, this card, assertiveness, there happened to be 2 in this deck, I noticed, and I hadn't noticed that before. It was a double. All right, so this one, assertiveness, and maybe this will focus. This situation can be healed gently and with love as you've requested. Yet, there's also a need for your strength and truthfulness with the other people involved. We will stand right behind you as you speak your truth, giving you strength and guiding your words. Absolutely. You can't go wrong when you're speaking truth. And you'll find other waves of energy and things move through you couldn't even possibly imagine that do help support you when needed. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that one. This one I'm not going to read from the book. But here's another one that I was led to pull out. Have confidence. Moving forward does not necessarily require you to have confidence in yourself. Confidence in God is enough, along with knowing that God works through you and with you in all ways. Lean upon us if your confidence wavers, and we will buoy your courage and faith. Absolutely. There are unseen forces with us all the time. And we just need, but remember, we're not alone in that way. And that when we want that confidence and to connect in on something, absolutely, we don't have to believe in other people or in a situation. We just need to know and have confidence that God is enough. God will support us and has our back, you know, in all ways, ALLWAYS, in all ways, and especially right when we need it. Okay. All right. Another one. This one is, there's nothing to worry about. And actually, I don't know if this ties in yet, but something just said to get this card. We've got this angel here. He's got a dove. He's got some cosmic things happening above his head and out there in the galaxy. Looks like he's standing there. So there's nothing in the entire world and in all of the galaxies and wherever you quantum leap to, you know, nothing to worry about. All right, here we go. You are safe, and this situation is under the perfect control of divine providence and universal order. Only infuse loving thoughts and emotions into the situation to ensure that the highest possible outcome flows effortlessly to you. Sorry, I'm having an issue here. Let me read it again. I'm going to read the last sentence again. Only infuse loving thoughts and emotions into the situation to ensure that the highest possible outcome flows effortlessly to and through you. That really sums up quite a bit. And it is so true, you know? This actually reminds me of the scene, spoiler alert. You have time to skip ahead. If any Star Wars fans out there, if you look at The Force Awakens, it's like one of the ending scenes where Rey just, she's fighting Kylo Ren. And there you have this epic battle in the wintry forest, and earthquakes are moving the land, and she's at the edge of the cliff, and just seems like a losing battle. But all of a sudden, she remembers just to be calm and close her eyes and be completely still and connect in with the Force, which you can call Great Spirit, God, any number of things. The all that there, the all that is, the balance. Anyway, she taps into that perfect moment, and through that, then pulls in all of the strength of the entire universe and beyond. So it just flows effortlessly, through her in that moment when she gets completely still and connects in with the divine. And that is such an incredible power that sometimes we forget to tap into and wield because, we get caught up in the mundane, the day-to-day. But absolutely come back to that place of there's nothing to worry about. In truth, there is nothing to worry about. It's the mind that takes us there, and we got to drop back down into the heart space, really not dropping down, melting in a beautiful, like warm chocolate melting way into who we really are, into our heart space. And just it's not even a breath away, jumping in there and remembering to play in there instead of up in the mind, and to connect in that joy of play and with God's energy, and that brings in the effortlessness of it all. The mind just has to effort it. The mind has to overthink. So remember, go to the heart space, get out of the mind space if you want to really see the magic happen. And remember, there's nothing to worry about. All right. Now we'll get to the Luminous Warrior, I believe. Let's do this. And this is a number 32, which is also a 5. We keep getting that 5 number of change. Let's see. Let's go to the book on this one. Luminous Warrior. Okay, actually, I'm just going to come here over the candle. Let's see if it'll focus. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this steady. The luminous warrior has no enemies in the world or the next. He is impeccable in word and deed. He focuses on his light rather than on what hides in the dark. Since he casts no shadow, he is as radiant as the sun and can transform his most terrible enemy into his ally. His power comes not from the sword, but from speaking his truth at all costs. All right, that's pretty darn powerful. And, it's right there in there. I love that line. He focuses on his light rather than on what hides in the dark, and casting no shadow. So again, where are we putting our focus, and where are we putting the emphasis on our words? There's so many words in the English language alone that, the more you look into it, the more you realize how much darkness has been interwoven into the English language. And it gets really interesting when you compare the etymology of a lot of words in English compared to other languages, name any. And you can find that there's just a lot of even phrases, idioms, expressions that we use in English that are really dwelling on death and darkness. And, I'll just throw out a few. I know there's better examples. Like I'm kind of not thinking of all of them right now. But look we've got a deadline, right? A deadline? Why isn't a lifeline? Why isn't that we are focusing on the dead part of it rather than the life part of it? You get a huge adrenaline rush when there's a deadline, and you get so much more done than if you don't have that boost. So if anything, it should be like an invigoration line, right? Or victory line. But no, it has the deadline connotation, right? Something comes to a dead standstill, right? There are going to be better examples, but a lot of you can already think of some. You're put 6 feet under, right? We got that number 6 that's used to the negative aspect, and I know that's not a dead, but it's a related reference. There's just so many things. Overkill. That's overkill. Anything with death and suffering and sacrifice. Even the word sacrifice. Why is it a sacrifice? If it's something that you want to do and you're giving something up, no, you're not sacrificing anything. You're willfully empowered in making that decision. So anyway, that's just something maybe to think about. But that's obviously moving away from the light and the luminosity. Back to another Star Wars reference. I got to do it because when I saw this card, it always reminds me every time when I see Luminous Warrior. There is a quote by Yoda, the Yoda, Master Yoda in I believe it's Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. He tells Luke, he says, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. And the crude matter he's pointing to is our 3D skin, our bodies containing this luminous light. That's just the 3D matter cells put together to just temporarily house and contain this amazing light, right, within us. So anyway, let me see. I think that's it for as far as the speaking your truth stuff and standing up and not backing down, and letting God, the God power, move through you in any situation when you are called to speak your truth, and you will not go wrong, and you will actually experience tremendous miracles when you do that. I've experienced that directly in the most impossible of circumstances, meeting with in business meetings with like 30 people, and all of a sudden I just said, you know what? I kept trying to defend a position that was honorable and truthful, and nobody else wanted to honor that. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what? I'm going to play with this now. I'm just going to have fun with it then. It's like my ninth meeting, trying to be successful. Again, pick your battles. This was like the ninth meeting, but I didn't want to go, but I was told I needed to go by people I was working for at the time. So I'm like, fine, if I'm going to go, I'm going to play with it. She's playing a flute. I'm going to go have fun with this, make it theatrical, whatever, to defend my position. And the more fun I was having with it, it was a different approach than the 8 meetings prior. I was, going through the diligent way, showing the due diligence, showing all of these things, of something so clear, but nobody wanted to see it or honor it. So I said, okay, if I got to go back to this meeting, I'm just going to have fun with it and play with it. The more I played, the more powerful the God voice and everything else moved through me and moved through all of the other people. And I ended up, coming through finally with some kind of measure of victory. But so a way was made where otherwise there was no way. And it was simply because I said, you know what, let me not make this so heavy. I'm just going to lighten up, have total fun if nobody else is, and see what happens. And absolutely, the God force moved through me. I was standing my ground. I was speaking my truth. And man, do you feel that God current flow through your body. If you haven't tried this before with anything, you'll be so happy to go out there and try to and go and speak your truth. If you're not really versed in doing it, practice it. Go out and do it. Let the God energy move through you and bring out some amazing, amazing experiences that even will make you laugh after, like, what just happened, right? And when you see the reaction of people looking at you like they're just in disbelief, like, what are they witnessing? Well, they're actually seeing the God force in the room, which is much bigger than all of us at that moment. All right, I think that's about all I'm going to say. I did have 3 little bonus cards from the Hidden Worlds deck. Just going to read the card, okay? Here is number 15. That's also a number 6, the Dolphin Caller. Pure, joyful friendships and loving help. And look at that. That's somebody standing on a rock, calling out to the infinite and presumably speaking truth and being totally connected in and being on that, pinnacle there at the top of something as far as being successful, standing the ground, right? All right, here's one. Let's see. This one's a really pretty card, and it is called, it's number 12 or 3, the Healing Temple of the Lunar Light, Life Cycles, Energy Healing, Communication. And in this one, look at this whole scene. Everything else kind of blends in. But man, you see that temple, and that's the temple of light. That's us with the light within, standing our ground. And this they talk about in the book as being kind of in between worlds, like seeing through the veil to see it. And I just see it as just something ever present. And I think people get glimpses of it all the time and maybe don't really think about it, glimpses into that other realm. And reminders of that divine light, within us all, if we don't get caught up too much in the outer, physical world. I'm really focused on that glowing door and that opening right now, even though the elephant in the room, so to speak, is this big pink, rosy, colored temple. What are we looking at? Like the 3D materiality of it? Or are we looking on deeper into that, ethereal white light, that divine magical light, right? All right. And there's time where our focus wanders all over, and that's okay. All right. One more card, just a little bonus here, if I can get it. Hang on, hold on with me. All right, also from the Hidden Worlds, and we have this one. Look at all these little beautiful stars, beautiful being up here on the top of the mountain again, showing that, you stand your ground based in solid ground, and also reaching heights that you never probably would even think you could if it weren't for having experiences of the divine flowing through you and letting truth being spoken from the heart and not the mind or even like the mouth, really. All right, 28 is also 10 or 1. You could also look at the 0-1 kind of dynamic in there, so kind of the closing out of an ending, but also the beginning and the 0 point of creation. So we got Mountain Goddess, high vibration, mindfulness, power of the mind. All right. So this is about, keeping something higher minded. But again, my point would be really connecting in with the heart and letting the divine flow directly through the heart, right? All right. So there's a time to be in the mind and a time to just let it flow from the heart space. And there are times when we can consciously guide that dynamic, and there are times where it will take over you. It'll take hold of you and move through you in ways you can't even control. As there's a beautiful, really divine moments. All right, well, it's kind of a funny read maybe, but it's where I was led to go. Hope at least something in here spoke to somebody, reminds you of something, or springboards you to further heights or to look into other things, reminds you of some things. Whatever the case, I wish everyone a beautiful right now. Tremendous peace and love to you. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.